Araba Radio.
Is it 8 o'clock right here at Flow FM 92.7, the 23rd of April 2025? Is now time for the headline news analysis. And this is where we talk about trending national stories. We get to debate and make comment about national stories that we brought to you at 7, or any story that you see that is from a credible source that you want to talk about or you want to comment on. You can definitely call on 0807-777-9927 to make a comment about it, or drop your contributions of what you think as a Nigerian on the show. I am joined by Mr. Nicholas Uwerinoye, the analyst this morning. Good morning, Mr. Nicholas.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
So. By the way, where's Dio?
Okay, well, he is unavoidably absent today, but he'll definitely be joining us tomorrow.
I hope all is well.
All is well. Thank you so much.
Because I always look forward to him giving me troubles anytime I come in here. But I know you are going to do well too.
Okay. All right, let's get into the story. But before we get into it, the views to be expressed is not in any way the position of Flow FM 92.7, but as expressed by the analyst Nicholas Uwerinoye this morning. Also, we'll be streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook this morning. So all you have to do is go on any of the social media platforms on YouTube or Facebook and get in on the live action happening in the studio right now. Let's get into the story. We have quite a number of interesting stories to touch on this morning. Okay, let's pick up this first one from Pastor Tunde Bakare. He made a couple of statements a few about days ago now. And then now the Senate has replied him, talking about how he was condemning this for the suspension of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State. And Senator said his remarks are misleading, contemptuous, and politically charged.
Whoa.
Yeah. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I don't know if for those who listen to Pastor Tunde Bakare, a few days ago, it was quite an explosive, outing for him. That is, he thoroughly upbraided both arms of government, the executive and the legislature. In fact, the allegation he made against them was that for the first time in the history of democracy in Nigeria, we have a fusion of both legislative and the executive arms, which is against the principle of separation of power. And if you recall, I have always said it on this platform that there was a reason why Baron Montesquieu, the proponent of a separation of power, proposed that there should be a separation between the people who make laws, the people who execute them, and the people who interpret, the law. That is the judiciary. The reason is so that one can act as a check to the other. They can each check each other. You don't put power into one. You don't make one all too powerful. You understand? So now, but what we have here is a total collusion, according to him, total collusion between the executive, the legislature. In fact, not even a collusion. It's like the Senate, the National Assembly, completely ceded its power of check and balances to the executive. So it kowtows to the whims, every whims and caprices, of the executive. That was the crux of the allegation against the lawmakers, and he called them the most spineless National Assembly we've ever had. You see, ordinarily, the man couldn't have spoken without basis. He gave reasons why he said all those things. You understand? He was citing particular instances where there has been what appears to be excesses on the part of the executive arm and the National Assembly not calling them to order. He gave the example of the case of Natasha. They have left the job of lawmaking, to pursue things that are mundane, things that has absolutely nothing to do with, And of course, when they were called out, they double down on persecuting the person that called them out. And in this case, the case of Natasha. Of course, we have all seen the outings of some of these lawmakers. Don't forget the case of this Unwa boy. the kind of language that he was, he was using. I still urge Nigerians to go back to that video. It's there all over YouTube. Look at the whole scenario, how it started, and just put your emotion aside and ask yourself, should this be a senator talking to a former, you understand? You look at both languages. The one from the Minister Ezekwesili that was being, assaulted, verbally assaulted in that meeting, and that of Senator Nweboy. Then look at his outing on radio, talking down on a fellow senator because she was, telling you, is he the most beautiful woman? You see, when you look at all these things, you understand where Pastor Tunde Bakare is coming from. He's talking from the point of view of anger and disappointment. And of course, he didn't leave the president too. He called his kind of politics a motor park politics. So you should expect that kind of response. But they had it coming. The National Assembly had it coming.
Okay, but understandably, I understand where you're coming from, right? But as a pastor, Tunde Bakare's statement, they carry significant weight.
Of course.
They do. But what role do you think that religious leaders should play in commenting on political issues? And how do you balance, your words carrying so much weight with things that happen and their civic responsibilities?
You see, that is a very, very touchy and quite a sensitive area. But you see, I don't want to go into the nitty-gritty of scriptures, but let us look at precedents. Reverend Jesse Jackson in America, he stood up tall. Desmond Tutu, South Africa. These are religious leaders, clerics.
Okay.
They took on the mantle of activism, when the time called for it. You understand? You have that is there was this man. The name keeps on coming in, and but I will remember it was one of American sage. The man who said he had a dream. Martin Luther King. You understand? Yeah. He was a reverend, kind of, So, you've always had these people at some point in time, they take on activism. When things are going wrong in the society, they call it out. You understand? Don't let's forget that there is one that everybody both Christian and Muslim alike respect so much, and that is Reverend Father Kuka. Well, I still call him Reverend Father Kuka but he's a bishop now. Is he Archbishop? Yeah, Archbishop. Yeah. So Archbishop Father Kuka, he's there. Anytime he makes intervention, you can see that he's unsparing and very balanced. I wouldn't expect Pastor Tunde Bakare to talk like, there are two different individuals. He has his own style. He's more of a fiery cleric, kind of. But for a very long time, I think this will be one of the finest moment of Tunde Bakare, if you ask me. It's not. I have not always agreed with him in some of the things he has said in the past, but on this one, I think I was calling him 100%.
But what would the boundary, where's the boundary between free speech and responsible speech for him to make statements like that to people in power?
He hasn't insulted anybody. He has only called them out on the basis of their actions. That is what he has done. I as much as I love speech,
isn't there constructive criticism anymore?
You think it's not constructive? Because you need to point out areas where you think he has gone overboard. All the allegations he made, are they true or false? Let's look at this motor park politics kind of thing. What is Wike doing? Does Wike not strike you as somebody that is reducing that office to a level of garrulity, calling a TV and saying all manners of things, even undermining the president in the process? So what are we talking about? So at what point has Tunde Bakare, where do you fault him in all what he has said? You see, look, governance is a very serious business. You understand? I know, at least I've lived in this earth, in this Nigeria for close to 5 decades. You're thereabout. You understand? And I have seen presidents, and there are certain things, even the military ones. Sani Abacha, who is said to be, can be temper, has a temper, but you hardly hear him talk. But each time he comes onto that microphone, faces the nation, he's always a composed individual. And people who are around him, they measure what they say. You understand? That is even in the military. Now, we are now talking of democracy, where everything is about civility. It's about, and you have people like Wiki running amok all over the places. You understand? You hear the kind of language, that shouldn't be coming from adults. You hear it from people who are in power. So what should a pastor say in that instance?
So this check that Pastor Tunde Bakare has done, how is it going to influence any of the things happening?
Although they have responded, he has gotten a response from them. That is what he intended. They have said that, that he crossed the red line. I need them to point out the red line he crossed. The man has exercised his right.
They also say it's politically charged.
Of course, he's talked about politics and he was unsparing, so he should be charged. You understand? So if this is the only way to get them to sit up and do their job, then Pastor Tunde Bakare has done his job. That is all he wants to do. He wants to get them to say that, look, we are here and we are watching and we are not happy. That is what he has said. It's as simple as that.
All right. Well, 0807-777-9927 is the number to call if you have any comments to make or contributions to make on the conversation happening right now in the studio. Let's move on to another conversation real quick. The IGP has ordered withdrawal of police mobile force from VIPs, and he also is launching a reform drive. He ordered that and basically saying that police escorts are no longer swift to respond because they are escorting VIPs and people who can afford to have them escort them to places and everything. So he is launching a withdrawal of that.
Well, I sincerely hope and pray that
apparently this isn't the first time he's saying that.
Exactly, he means it this time. I don't know whether you saw a video recently of array of a group of Nigerian policemen lined up with a Chinese man handing them money, giving them money and things like that. I don't know whether you saw that video on X. There was another corresponding video, for somebody, a Nigerian living in China, wailing that, look, that thing has created outrage in China. Said, is this how cheap Nigerian police are?
All right, please, sorry to bother you, Mr. Nicholas. Let's get this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning to you. I'm fine, thank you. This is the headline news. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Wale from Kulende.
All right, Mr. Wale from Kulende. Welcome to the show. Please make your comment.
Nigeria, we don't like truth. When you hear the truth, they will be bitter. And until we go back to righteousness, that is when we can get things right. When you talk, say Nigeria, what do we fix? We don't get anything to fix. No light, no road, no school, no health. No. Where are we going? And when they talk, they start to talk Igbo. And the last thing they will say is, God help Nigeria. God don't help those that are righteous. So I don't know where we are going. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you very much.
You've heard that.
You should expect that from the average man on the street, really. It's sometimes you just ask yourself, when is this all going to end? When do we have a situation where, when you open portals like this and have people comment, you have, out of every 5 comments, you have at least 2, 3 saying, things are getting better. Yes, the other day I went to the hospital and they said that they treated me for this and free of charge and things. Now you just wonder, when are we going to hear things like that on the radio? You understand?
Let's get another call. Hello, good morning.
Oh, Danielle, good morning.
It's Danielle that's here. Good morning to you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Mr. Davis calling from Shah.
All right, Mr. Davis, please, you have the floor.
I'm just Mr. Nicholas.
Thank you. Good morning.
He has said a lot this morning. I think one of the greatest problems we have in this country at the brain chamber. You see, maybe they think they are immune to criticism. So that whenever you criticize them constructively, they take it in another way. And I want to put from the tragedy of the rebellion, King Emene, everything that was so for last. He said, truth is bitter, but it must be truth. Either they like it or not, and either we're going to tell them the truth. Someone like Pastor Tumi Bakari, who happens to be a lawyer right from the onset, he knows what he was saying, and Nigeria knows what the man was saying. The Senate should not let themselves, should not reduce themselves to the apron of the president. I won't say president, but the president himself. Because it seems whatever the president wants, he gets it from this present Senate, which is not supposed to be so. So I think this is the right time for every Nigerian to let the Senate know that they were not immune to criticism, either constructive or destructive. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Davis from Shao.
Okay. Well, I know it's going to that conversation is going to continue for a very long time. So we just have to, we'll see how it goes from there. But all the same, we are talking about the police thing. It's still part of what we are talking about, part of the reasons why you have this kind of frustration all over the places. He's talking about reforms now. That is for the opt-in time. Like I was saying, that illustration I was making about the Nigerian police, the viral video. A lot of Nigerians were upset because they became a subject of ridicule in China. You understand? And that is we are talking of trained police officers, and they were Mopul, the same man that is the same crop of core of police officers that he wants to withdraw from VIPs. And I'm sure those guys were on VIP duties, by a foreigner, openly compromising them while videoing it. You understand? That is the level to which our police have been undermined. And this is not, that is not even the tragedy. When you even look at even the number of police we have, ordinarily, we don't have enough. But according to UN, I think the UN is, I don't know, it's one policeman to every 40 citizens. That is what the United Nations, that is the standard recommendation. But as it is right now, we have one policeman to every 300 Nigerians, if not more. So that is, we are under-policed. We still need a lot of. So now within this VIP, they are not even up to 1,000 naira. They take a huge chunk of this readily mobile, core of police officers off duty. The mobile police is meant to respond to quick emergencies, dangers, riots.
Good morning,
exactly, that is what they are meant to do. In those days, you can see mobile.
We've got the hottest headlines, trending topics, and the music you love.
Everybody
back to back.
Because these are
You already know we keep it fun, fresh, and real. Mid mornings with us, you won't want to miss it. We bring the energy, the laughs, and of course the tears that gets you through the day.
Afternoon on Flow FM is where the culture lives. Music, entertainment, and all the gist that you need. And if it's trending, you already know
into Sambisa and the rest of them.
Stay locked in, Lauren. It's Flow FM, baby.
That all this banditry will be a thing of the past.
So the reason why mobile police would switch or want to, be of escort services to VIPs, is it not a reflection of how they are not being taken care of?
Listen anytime, anywhere. Stream us live, call us, send us a WhatsApp message. We're just a tap away.
Within the police system itself. You understand? Because
Flow
you see,
FM 92.7.
Because you hear a lot of stories about policemen
station.
being lobbied to be taken to certain places, or it shouldn't be like that. You understand? You hear of them having to pay a lot of money to be lobbied to go and be attached to, one top VIP or the other, because when they get there, of course, a VIP who has the money to spare, of course, he's going to be very concerned about his life. So he's going to take care of the person who will be his orderly and the rest of them. He places them on, personal salary, some allowances at the end of the day. He's going to do all those, to ensure, that things are properly done. You understand? That his security is top. His security, is top notch. So you cannot remove that from it. You cannot remove that from part of the factor. But I sincerely hope he has the strength to do that, because all those IGs in the past that have made that same pronouncement, I think somewhere along the line they were stymied by the system itself. You understand? Recall what happened, when they said when there was this issue of the man, the IG haven't overstayed his tenure and things like that.
Yes.
Look at the number of AIGs that took him on frontally. That tells you of the system within that place, that they can, when they feel that they are threatened, they can go unruly.
So now, part of the new reforms is, he's saying for the tactical units is quarterly ethics training, mandatory standby of combat ready squads across all formations, and that they'll be held accountable for their personnel's conduct. Now, why is it not why isn't their well-being and financial well-being also part of this new reforms? Like, if you're trying to take people away from where vices. From vices, and from them being able to afford things that they need, if they're you mentioned earlier that these VIPs place them on salaries, and
allowances
and benefits like this. If the Nigerian police, if the IGP isn't taking that into cognizance and trying to top that for them to want to come back.
You see, I will not subscribe to that really. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be duly rewarded. You see, the fact is, anybody that is going to be corrupt will be corrupt, whether you pay him well or not. See, the present crop of corrupt officers that we have all over the places, pay them 1 million naira per month. They will still stay on the highway and extort people. You understand? Whoever is going to be corrupt is going to be corrupt. It's as simple as that.
Hottest headlines, trending topics, and the music you love back to back.
This ethical training.
You already know we keep it fun, fresh, and real. Mid-mornings with us, you won't want to miss it. We bring the energy, the laughs, and of course the tears that get you through the day.
Afternoon on Flow FM.
Alabi.
It's better culturally. Music, entertainment, and all the gist that you need.
I don't know if you had listened to the
Stay locked in, Lauren. It's Flow FM, baby.
Coming on air on that matter. There's several lapses in the procedural trial of that young man. You understand? They brought the CP himself. And
listen anytime, anywhere.
That statement
stream us live, call us, send us a WhatsApp message, or just a tap away.
You understand? We are talking of a situation where
Flow FM
92.7 criminal justice system says that if you want to interrogate a person, there must be video, there must be lawyer. You didn't provide any of those. And you came on air to start defending. You know how Nigeria is. There is no network and things like that. How can you say that on air? That's the CP saying things like that. Then when they now had a meeting in Lagos, maybe they showed him, facts. He now said, okay, he now introduced them to top officers who are going to review the conduct of the police officers. You see, why put the cart before the horse? What I expected the police command to have said was that we are looking at the case, and if there is any infraction, we are going to punish those responsible. Simple. But you came and defended your action, and you are talking of a minor. You put a minor in an adult prison facility. You understand? So these are those things I think that ethical standard is going to correct.
Okay.
You understand? So that is why I'm on board with the IGP on that. Very much on board with him on that, because that training and the training has to happen.
It's needed. All right, let's get another call. Hello, good morning. Hello. Hello, good morning. Okay. All right, please do well to try to connect back. 08077779927. Please go ahead, Mr. Nicholas.
Yeah. So that is the thing, because apart from that, don't forget that during the EndSARS crisis we had, you remember there were certain sweeping reforms that were promised. That we are going to replace SARS with SWAT and other. We haven't heard anything about SWAT. You understand? There are going to be this, but rather than having a change of heart, what we see more or less, more in most instances, is police doubling down on all those things again. You understand? Look at the instance I was just talking about now. I have always said it repeatedly that the police must be very, very wary of some of its officers who refuse to implement all these reforms that you have. ACJA had been in place for over 5 years now, and yet you still have a situation like that Yusuf Alabi thing
happening.
How can you do that?
Well, let's move away from that conversation onto another one. You can still definitely leave your comment. 0807-777-9927 is the number to call. Well, the Nigerian Bar Association has called on the federal government to allow states to establish their own police forces as a solution to the rising wave of killings and violent attacks across the country, especially the ones that have happened in Plateau and Benue so far.
Correspondingly, if you recall, there was this report I saw about the DSS disarming the paramilitary, the security outfit that was put in place in Plateau State. I have been trying to correspond, to get correspondent reports on that. I don't know whether, I read that report. It was a comprehensive report, and that is quite disturbing. And you see, the only we have said it countless number of times. It's about time we have state police. It's
the
about
conversation
time.
Has been,
It's about we have.
Sorry
it.
to butt you.
Yeah.
Let's get no call. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. This is the headline news analysis. What's your name and where you calling from? All right. Okay, please go ahead, Mr. Nicholas.
Yeah, see, that shouldn't happen, because we are talking of a situation where even the DSS, the police, admit that they are overstretched. You understand? Whichever way you look at it, a state police can only be complementary in larger terms when you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? It's going to be complementary to the efforts of the federal police, the police as it is right now, and DSS and the Nigerian military. They will be the first line of defense. We are talking of a system where you have a bottom-up approach to security monitoring across the country. You understand? So I know there are a lot of fears, but are you going to, when you place it side by side with the general sense of insecurity that is pervasive in the country, I think that is a lesser evil. And usually governance should be about taking the lesser evil. You can't say you can have an El Dorado. Mm-hmm. It's not possible. You can't have an utopian system. Or, it's not possible. But you can always settle for the lesser
energy,
evil.
the laughs, and of course the tears that get you through the day.
Afternoon on Flow FM is where the culture lives. Music,
they also mentioned, just like T.Y. Danjuma, that security personnel should empower residents with means of self-defense.
Yeah, I said this the other time when one of our callers, I think from Shao, Mr. Davis from Shao, said that Nigerians should be empowered. He thought probably I said
listen
no.
anytime, anywhere.
What
Stream
I
us
meant
live,
was that organized self-defense.
Send us a WhatsApp message.
Is my
it's not just one person.
Yeah, you see, when you losing, the system that grants you, the right to own a weapon. You see, there's this giddiness, drunkenness that comes with power. You understand? You have a power to coerce. You understand? For instance, there is a reason why I don't keep cane in my house.
Your Go with the Flow
I don't
radio
keep
station.
whiplash and all those things like we used to know it back in the days, where our dad buys
from sunrise
and
to
keeps it somewhere
and beyond.
There is a reason why I don't do that. I don't do it because the moment you see it as a solution to every problem that you can talk to your son or your daughter about. So same thing with having a gun.
Good morning,
Ilari.
You know what time
Small
it is.
altercations that you can resolve with talking.
Get your day started right.
You might then
got the hottest headlines, trending topics, and the music you love back to back.
So at some point
you already know we keep it fun, fresh, and real.
That is why I said it must be organized.
We bring the energy, the laughs, and of course the tears that get you through the day.
Afternoon on Flow FM
is where the culture lives. Music, to how do you bring them in, how do you sustain their payment and things like that. How do you monitor them? You can start by that. From that.
Sorry, Sibachi, let's get this call before we round off. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. What is your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Kenny calling from Tanke.
Okay, Kenny calling from Tanke. Please, you have the floor. Go ahead, make your comment.
Yeah. Let me first comment on the issue of Pastor Tunde Bakari.
Okay.
And I want to commend your presenter and your what's it called?
Analyst.
The person you got on the studio, the analyst.
Yes.
He has really done a good job on every section, on every question you posed to our team.
Thank you.
Sincerely speaking, sometimes when you listen to Nigerian news, you get right up. Like, you feel like...
Stay locked in, Lauren. It's Flow FM, baby.
You don't put it on channels anymore. Because listening to Nigerian news,
young,
you get
the
anger,
vibes are right,
you get
and
attacked.
we are
Because
flowing
there's nothing
past
concrete to talk about. Because
You're
you
ready
see our
to chill?
politicians
Let's go.
Listen anytime, anywhere. Stream us live, call us, send us a WhatsApp message, or just a tap away.
It's not something that should be happening at the time when Nigeria
Flow
is in
FM
need of an
92.7.
economic
Your
change.
Go with the Flow radio station.
You see what Wike is saying? Even like, was it last week or there about, I was listening to I was watching a program where Wike was saying emphatically, boldly from his mind, that he wanted the governor impeached. He wanted it removed. You understand? On what basis? On what ground? Are you telling me Wike is a saint? Are you telling me what he's in Abuja is right? No, they are just making everything about politics. And now deviating from that aspect of the economic growth that we want them to do. They are just fighting each other. And that is why you see a governor of one party raising another party's senator up that I want this person to contest in 2027. We are in 2025. They are already discussing 2027. They are not discussing how power will be, the power generation will increase. They are not discussing how the benefit of the so-called, subsidy removal of can be stopped to the masses.
Hello, Kenny. Our time is fast spent. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for making your comment. Thank you so much. That's another Nigerian citizen, making a comment about everything that's happening so far. Please, your final thoughts on this conversation.
Well, we'll have to continue to slug it on and pray that things will improve for Nigerians. Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll pick it up again tomorrow, okay? Thank you so much for joining us on the Headline News Analysis this morning. The views expressed is not in any way the position of Flow FM 92.7, but are solely expressed by the analyst, Nicholas Waranoya, this morning. I am Danielle Shitta-Bey. Good morning to you.
Here to light up the city.
Flow FM 92.7.
Good morning, Ilori. You know what time it is. Wake up with us and get your day started right.
We've got the hottest headlines, trending topics, and the music you love back to back.
You already know we keep it fun, fresh, and real. Mid-mornings with us, you won't want to miss it. We bring the energy, the laughs, and of course the tunes that gets you through the day.
Afternoon on Flow FM, it's where the culture lives. Music, entertainment, and all the gist that you need.
And if it's trending, you already know we're talking about it.
Stay locked in, Lauren. It's Flow FM, baby.
The night's young, the vibes are right, and we are flowing past midnight. You ready to chill? Let's go.
Listen anytime, anywhere. Stream us live, call us, send us a WhatsApp message, or just a tap away. Flow FM 92.7, your Go with the Flow radio station.